find America's ultimate team playing the next great American sport, Professional Ultimate Frisbee. The Indianapolis AlleyCats are your home team. Right now, you get to see some of the best ultimate Frisbee athletes in the world do what they do. Sit back, relax, and get with it. Are you in?
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us at Grand Park in Westfield, Indiana, for some UFA action in the hearts of Indiana. I'm Harrison Silcox, joined by Kelsey Sparks tonight. It is the Indianapolis AlleyCats and the Detroit Mechanix in action at some UFA tonight. And so, Kelsey, let's just jump right into it. When you think about the AlleyCats, one of the first names that's probably going to pop in your mind is Cameron Brock.
It has to be Cam.
12th year, 613 career goals. Is he ever going to stop scoring?
It doesn't seem that way. You know, he has been in the league for 12 seasons now. No one has found an answer to him yet, and it's seeming like they never will. I was actually texting with him this morning, and hey, he's chasing 700 now.
Not many people in the league career-wise close to him. He's almost doubled the player who's in second place. But on the other side, the opponent for the AlleyCats tonight is the Mechanix. I understand you caught up with Terry Gaither heading into this matchup. He's been with the AlleyCats. He played a little bit back in 2018, but the last 4 years he spent with Detroit.
Terry is a passionate leader. He has been passionate about the ultimate community for as long as I've known him. He's another absolute freak of nature with athleticism. So we got to chat earlier today. This is his first year as captain for the Detroit Mechanix, and we were going over some of the keys to the game because, as you know, they had their season opener last week. Unfortunately lost to Chicago. That score was 24-9. Terry said that they just need to get the jitters out of the way. They have 27 rookies on their team this year. That's a record. They only have 5 returners playing today, 7 total on the team. So Terry says that their offense need to be patient. They need to limit their hucks because Indy is tall and really good in the air. They also need to limit their turnovers and keep the disc off the sideline because last week in Chicago they really struggled to get the disc off the sideline once they got trapped over there. Terry also said they need to work on playing like a team. They have a lot of guys that want to play hero ball, he said, and everybody wants to be, quote, that guy. But to win in the UFA, you have to play as a team. So that's something that they're working on today.
And then on the other side, the AlleyCats, they open their season today. It took until week 3 for them to get things started. Their keys to the game if they want to start off on the right foot this year.
Yeah, you and I talked to Coach Drew Shepard before we got started here. He said that we need to keep the opening game jitters out of the way, be in control of their emotions because the Mechanix already have their opening game out of the way. So for the AlleyCats rookies, this is their first UFA action. They just need to be in control of their emotions. They're also going to stick to their new offensive strategy, which we are going to go more into detail about later, but they need to be disciplined and let their new offense develop. As far as defense goes, the AlleyCats were in the bottom third of the league in blocks last year, so they need to generate more blocks as a team to get more break chances.
You mentioned blocks. It makes me think of William Weddingale, who was on the all-rookie team a year ago, led the team in blocks last year. Is he maybe somebody what's the excitement getting to see him come out for his second year with this team?
He is such a young player and very athletic, dynamic player. He was so hungry last year and motivated, being just a young guy in college. So the fact that he came out and led the team in blocks was so exciting for everybody, and everyone thinks that he has a long, exciting career ahead of him.
I want to go back to Detroit for just a minute. You mentioned it in the keys to the game, 27 rookies on this Mechanix roster. What kind of challenges does that pose for a team as young as they are to try and mesh and gel and find that chemistry while, you know, they're just hitting the ground running? You know, last week was their first game, so how difficult can that be?
it can pose challenges all across the board. There are some of the obvious ones, like learning to play together as a team, right? Just hitting those easy in cuts, easy throws, easy catches. But when you're playing on a stage as big as the UFA, then you got to add in all those jitters as well. A lot of these guys have never played on this stage before, so you have to manage your emotions, be able to take a little bit deeper of a breath when you catch that disc instead of reacting out of emotion and making an easy throw hit the dirt. Terry said that in their 41 turnovers last week, they had 10 easy drops and 31 throwaways. So 41 turnovers last week is their highest since 2021. Again, a lot of rookies on the team, so they just need to manage their emotions and limit those easy turnovers.
Thank you, Kelsey. Getting ready for our first poll of the game, brought to you by Good Boy Vodka. Good Boy Vodka was born out of an appreciation for the best that life can offer, accompanied by memories that we'll never forget. Visit goodboyvodka.com for more information on the newest Cat sponsor. So it is Detroit's who will start with possession.
Indy coming out with that double team, trying to put pressure on their throwers quickly.
It's Detroit settling into their first possession of the game. How challenging is it to operate around a double team that the AlleyCats are throwing out there, Kelsey?
The AlleyCats are an extremely tall team, so they have a lot of long-armed players that can really make you feel like you're locked down.
With a hammer throw from Felton into the end zone, and that is knocked to the turf. Target there was Brendan Gessner.
And there's Will Wettengale, just who we were talking about earlier, his first block of the season and his very first point of the season. Here we go.
This is Payne. Working just in front of their own end zone. Hutton with the disc now as he floats one upfield. Wettengale with a one-handed grab. Swung backwards for the AlleyCats. First time at the disc has been in the home team's hands tonight. Kennev in the middle of the field.
Kennev, a longtime Detroit Mechanix player, switched over to the AlleyCats for the year.
He's one of a couple of players making their debut for the AlleyCats tonight. And that's Kennev with the disc there as it's moved forward. Graham has it now in the dump pass backwards. The nice catch to keep the possession alive. AlleyCats on the doorstep, and they'll get the first goal of the evening, and it is the former Detroit man, Jake Kennev.
And the assist by another former Detroit man, Jack Havey. They are coming in guns a-blazing against their former team here in Grand Park tonight.
Havey spent the last 3 years in Detroit. Kennev's first 3 years in the UFA in Detroit as well, as you get a look at the replay, and it is the AlleyCats scoring first. Kelsey, what did you think there, the first possession? AlleyCats getting to break point.
AlleyCats were very chilly on their offense there. They remained disciplined with that disc, worked it up the field, and stayed calm to get that break. So perfect way to start off the game for the AlleyCats. Always love to see a break opportunity cashed in on.
So second pull of the evening will roll out of play. Quick double team for the AlleyCats once again. Vanis with the disc, looking for a man behind, and we'll now have it floated forward. Pardon me, that's actually Kennis with it, and a fantastic, nearly a fantastic D, but the possession kept alive by Grondin at the far side of the field. Wettengale nearly got a hand on that one, but it's kept alive by Texera. Now Smith swinging it out to the far side of the field. Layout grab not there for Detroit.
And it looks like we have an injured player.
And we will get a whistle that's going to stop play.
Injury timeout on the field.
It's Stephen Grondin. His first year playing since 2021. Only played in 5 games that season. He's a little bit slow to get up for Detroit.
Heck of an effort there to try to make that diving layout grab. Looks like he's going to be okay. Just got the wind knocked out of him a little bit on the landing.
Get live, you want to see a score.
This is Cam Thatcher, who will start play once again when the referee blows his whistle. Patience here from the AlleyCats as they try to make it 2 consecutive goals. And they'll be able to do it thanks to Cornieris getting open.
Nice little scuba for the score there. Connie Harris is a captain for the first time this year alongside Nick Hutton. Lucas Connieris actually represented Team USA last year in the United Kingdom, brought home a gold medal out there. So the AlleyCats are very happy, excited, and blessed to have him back on their roster and as a first-time captain.
So Connieris gets his first goal of the season. He had 13 a year ago. His 4th year playing for Indianapolis. So the home team rolling here to start, Kelsey.
2 breaks back-to-back right away. You can see some of the jitters on the Mechanix side. The throws haven't looked quite as crisp as they are hoping for. Another notable thing, though, is that we have a new disc this year, Harrison. So first year playing with this new professional disc by the UFA. It feels a little bit different in your hand. The middle of the disc is thinner, so it will fly further, and it's designed to hold its shape a little bit better on hucks.
So this is Lannis with it now. So do you think that disc, Kelsey, is going to wind up with some longer hucks downfield? Do you think that's going to get a little bit more airtime when players decide to send it?
I've heard that it travels about 15% further, so there's a huge learning curve associated with it right now. A lot of guys have been overthrowing their targets. So once people figure out the speed with which they need to throw this and how to weight it a little bit better in their hand, I think we'll see more huck scores this year.
Well, this is a deep throw right now to Chamberlain, who comes down with the sky right in the goal line, and it's the first goal of the night for Detroit.
Amazing, amazing grab by Chamberlain there, and his teammates are fired up. That's what the Mechanix needed to get the energy back up on their sideline for their team.
You want to look for the highlight here right when we're talking about how far this new disc is going to fly. It's Chamberlain who finds his staircase in midair and gets the assist as well.
Over 2 AlleyCat veterans as well. Heck of a grab.
It's Jordan Hill credited with the goal. And so Detroit down by 1. They cut the lead in half.
We'll get to see the Mechanix D-line for the first time here tonight. There's Terry Gaither, who we were talking about earlier, number 33.
Gaither mentioned him, 4th year with Detroit. First year he's a captain with the Mechanix.
And first time seeing the AlleyCats O-line.
Cameron Brock out of the field as well. Mentioned him in the pregame. Hard to talk about the AlleyCats without mentioning the league's all-time leading goal scorer by quite a bit. 613 on the career for Brock. This is Levi Jacobs as the AlleyCats move it quickly. And we'll get a foul called. So the AlleyCats will walk the disc forward a little bit.
Seemed unintentional there. Brad Kennis fouling Travis Carpenter. Oh, do we have another one? Yes, we do.
Another foul. AlleyCats get to walk up just a little bit further down the field. Double team from Detroit. As Carpenter quickly throws out of it, gets the disc right back.
And the AlleyCats' new offense is designed to really help get out of those double team situations. So there's going to be a lot more dishy passes you're going to notice here tonight. The AlleyCats have changed up their offense. Some people call it dribbling. Look at all this quick back and forth, quick handler movement.
It's Connie Harris and Gross, the 2 players involved in the dribbling that you mentioned, Kelsey. Rick Gross has it now. Goodeman getting up at the stall count, and the turnover forced by Detroit. It was James Kloss who got it on that one. And now they're going to send one downfield in his direction, but just out of reach.
Almost got the bookends there. Bookends is what we call it when somebody gets the block on defense and then catches the score.
AlleyCats swing to the far side of the field. Brock with the disc, gets it right back.
Lots of quick dribbling for the AlleyCats. This is a team that historically has relied a lot on their hucks. They were actually 3rd in the league in a huck percentage last year.
That's Brock floating one forward up to Carpenter.
2nd in the league in huck percentage. My bad.
And the AlleyCats just dribble their way to a goal, and it's Brock who finds himself on the end of it, courtesy of Gudeman, who is right on the goal line and makes it 3-1. Mentioned that huck percentage for the AlleyCats a year ago, 68%. They didn't huck it a lot compared to some of the other teams, just 76 of them, but it's a team that last year when they saw their opportunities, they took them very efficiently, and that, though, was a possession where we saw a lot of that dribbling that allowed them to work their way up the field. So what are some of your early impressions of some of the new things that the AlleyCats are trying to do on offense?
It seems like that line was very disciplined with sticking to their new offense, letting the plays develop. They dribbled it all the way up the field, found Brock in the end zone for career goal 614.
Worked upfield and into the hands of Hill as Detroit will try to find an answer. And is this potentially another opportunity for Detroit? And it's back with Jordan Hill. He's got a player open in the end zone. He sees him, and Detroit gets another.
And that's the first break by the Detroit Mechanix.
The break point for Detroit cuts the lead down to 1.
Mechanix are going to be a force to be reckoned with this game. They're determined to stop this streak. A big hashtag last season for the Mechanix was hashtag break the streak. They have the longest losing streak in league history right now at 75 games after last week.
75.
Will that be the end?
75 games. It's a long time. We'll see if this is the year where they are able to break that streak. You mentioned that Gaither is a player on this Mechanix team who does indeed believe that this is the year. It's been a while since they beat the AlleyCats. You have to go all the way back to 2012 since the Mechanix beat Indianapolis.
We did have a close game here in Grand Park last year, though, a 1-point heart-stopping game where the AlleyCats narrowly bested Detroit.
This is Gross floating one forwards as it's another point here for the AlleyCats O-line. It took a few minutes for us to see it for the first time today. Brock on the backhand. Conieris swinging one to the middle of the field. Brock getting open again. Gross, as Brock ran to the far corner, thought about it. Instead decides to play some give-and-go action. Now he's got all sorts of time in a room. As Gross gets it back. AlleyCats knocking in the door again. Around the mark. AlleyCats swinging to the near side of the field now as Gudeman finds Gross. It's been a very active possession for Rick Gross. Hoppy, right back to Gross.
Mechanix playing very tight, aggressive defense here. They're making it difficult for the AlleyCats, forcing a lot of throws.
Gross floating one ahead, and it's going to be another goal for Indianapolis. Travis Carpenter on the receiving end of the Gross pass.
Longtime AlleyCat there. Travis Carpenter has been here from the very beginning. They used to call him the Kid because the league had to amend their rules to let him play. He was just a little bit too young the first year of the AlleyCats. He's not the kid anymore. He's more like the old man. But
I was going to say, after, when you hit your 12th year in the league, can they still call you the Kid?
Some
Apparently
people
not.
do. Some people do.
The nickname sticks?
It seems like it's starting to die out, though. He has a kid of his own on the way. So
there you go.
Yeah, he's growing up.
Well, maybe the league will have to change rules again and get his kid on a field one of these days. Might be too early for that, though, as a pole just quickly goes out of play. So Detroit's going to get to favorable position on the field here right at midfield. And I don't know what happened there defensively for the AlleyCats, but a quick response for the Mechanix as Gessner gets his second of the day.
Great work by the Mechanix there to seize that opportunity. Close game here in Indianapolis. The Mechanix are coming out with a lot of energy. This team is excited. They are dialed in.
We talked to their head coach, Brent Steep, before the game started, and that was one of the questions that we asked him is, do you feel like it is an advantage that you've already played one game on the year? They started their season against Chicago last week. Despite losing that game 24-9, he didn't tell us, of course it's an advantage, especially with the amount of rookies that's on this Detroit roster and not a lot of players returning as well. Just 5 on the roster today who are back with this team from last year, 27 new players on this roster in total. And so I wonder, Kelsey, if you think that's playing a factor a little bit, that just Detroit's been able to get their feet a little bit wet into this season?
I do think that. There are always so many jitters associated with the first game of the year. You're coming off a long off season. You have brand new teammates, and for the AlleyCats, they have a brand new offense. They have a lot of adjustments that they need to be making based on this year from last year.
Levi Jacobs working it forward. Carpenter, the former kid, making the grab.
The former kid, I like that. I'm going to start calling him that.
As he swings it around, Gross is going to send one. And it's out of reach. Actually, it was Rick Gross, the intended target there.
Lucas Conieris on the throw. And, hey, there's that new disc that we were just talking about, this new Frisbee. It travels further than what we've used in the past, so it takes a little bit of getting used to.
It also helps playing indoors here in Westfield at Grand Park. It is a windy day in Indiana. If you're walking around here in the Hoosier State, and so that's another thing that helps out a little bit, but maybe sometimes the disc goes a little bit further than you think when you don't have that wind as a factor. As Brock is there for the D, and he'll quickly swing it.
Having no wind could prove to be a big advantage for the Mechanix here tonight, having such a young team.
Jacobs launches one to Gudeman, who's wide open, and it's another score for the AlleyCats. Seth Gudeman had 10 goals a year ago. Extends the AlleyCats lead back to 2, 5-3, with 1:40 left in the quarter.
Gudeman's on his 3rd year with the AlleyCats here. And Harrison, when he moved to town, the whole AlleyCats organization was trying to find a way to get a hold of him. He played in a tournament, an indoor tournament in the winter, and afterwards everybody was scrambling. Who's that guy Seth? Where's his phone number? We need it. So they tracked him down, and the rest is history.
Well, it's paying off there, as I'm sure it's paid off plenty of times. He's able to get the goals for the AlleyCats, 5-3, late minutes here in the first. Double team thrown on here from Indianapolis. They'll just try the hammer throw out of it. Nearly kept alive, but there for the D was Xavier Payne.
And we see that sideline trap that worked really well against the Mechanix last week.
Intercepted there by Felton, quickly trying to get the score, and for the second time tonight, it's Chamberlain. Actually, it's his first goal today. He had the highlight reel sky over 2 AlleyCat defenders that led to the Mechanix' first score on the evening, and Detroit hanging around here in the first quarter, 5-4, with 1:07 left of the opening frame.
And that's the kind of performance that they need from Chamberlain tonight. That's the kind of performance that they need from their returners. These guys need to keep stepping up, setting a big example for all the rookies on the team, making those big plays to keep the energy high.
So Detroit keeping it close here. They have yet to lead, and we haven't seen a tie really since the opening poll back when it was 0 apiece. So this poll just goes straight out of play.
They're trying to trap Indianapolis on the sideline here now.
Indianapolis has been quick to get out of that double team, swinging it with a hammer throw well behind the play. This is Carpenter out of trouble, does exactly that, finding Rick Gross.
This AlleyCat team has a lot of experience there. Travis Carpenter to Rick Gross. We've been calling those names back-to-back next to each other for years. They know how to get out of that double team.
As Brock moves it forward to Gross, Contieras open downfield. AlleyCats decide to dribble a little bit more. Brock and Gross, pass and catch. And it's Levi Jacobs hauling that one in. AlleyCats go back in front by 2 as teams trade goals here late in the first quarter. Just 27 seconds left in the frame.
Speaking of AlleyCat veterans there, we get to see another one, Levi Jacobs. They call him the gunslinger, Harrison.
The gunslinger. Any idea why?
Because of his hucks. He is not afraid to put it up there, but hey, he can catch them too. He can do it all.
This is an AlleyCats team that last year, a lot of different players who could play a lot of different roles when they had the disc. A lot of guys who didn't mind dropping back into a handler role, guys who could get downfield, and you see it there with a guy known for how far he can launch the disc, getting a goal there.
And we're going to see more and more versatility from the AlleyCats this year, especially as they play with this new offense. They don't have a set 7 O-line. They have a little bit more fluidity in it, more like 10 people on the O-line. So we'll see more versatility this season for sure.
And when we talked to Coach Shepard in the pregame, talking about trying to find out how he can just maximize what they can get out of their two-way players. But we'll see if the Mechanix have a response. It's been back and forth for most of this opening quarter. As Lannis swings one back around, Shanahan to the end zone, and the Mechanix answer right back. Brendan Gessner.
Gessner had a great game last week, 3 goals against the Union. This is his second year with the Mechanix, bouncing back from a rough rookie season where he spent half of the year injured with an ankle injury. So he is really excited to be healthy this year and contribute for his team. We're only in our second game, and he's already doing just that.
So Gessner gets the score. And that's it for quarter number 1. We'll take our first break of the night. It's the AlleyCats who lead 6-5.
Oh, he's getting the crowd going.
Are you kidding me? You are kidding me! Holy smokes! Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt?
This is going to be the game. Joel Clutton battling for position. He tips it to the end zone where it's caught by Elijah Jaime at the buzzer to tie the game. Incredible awareness from Clutton, and we've got overtime tonight.
Throw like a pro with the new Pro Ultimate Frisbee. Created with input from the sport's premier passers, the Pro Frisbee is specially designed to fly through the wind and maintain its edge. Experience the official Frisbee of the UFA and get yours at shopufa.com today.
Just about ready for the second quarter of play. Harrison Silcox and Kelsey Sparks with you this afternoon for some AlleyCats action. Kelsey, what were your impressions there in that opening quarter? We got a good one here in Westfield.
We do, and I have been very, very impressed by Detroit. This young team with 27 rookies on it is really taking their shots. They are doing great. Only a 1-point game against a seasoned AlleyCat team with a whole lot of veterans. So I am sure Coach Brent Steep is very happy with his team right now.
And only 5 turnovers there in that opening quarter. Coach Steep was telling us wanted to limit those tonight. It's tough to limit those mistakes with so many new players, but the best way to fix those issues is to work on them in practice and get some game time underneath your belt. It's the AlleyCats, though, who get their first possession of this quarter, and we have got a huck down to Gross. He was overthrown in the first quarter. He tracks that one down, but right on the goal line. And that is a goal for the AlleyCats. Levi Jacobs able to cash in after the deep throw that Gross was able to track down.
Perfect pass there by Travis Carpenter. Put the perfect amount of float on that disc, on the new disc, like we've been talking about. It's a little bit hard to manage those hucks, but Travis does a fantastic job. Rick Gross goes and tracks it down and finds Levi Jacobs for the score.
Is Rick Gross just showing some of that versatility there? We saw him involved in a lot of those dribbles that you were talking about in the first quarter. It's kind of some handler-like positions, but that's the second time tonight we've seen him in a full-on sprint chasing down a disc. At that time, it pays off. Does that just speak to some of the versatility that the AlleyCats have on offense?
Yeah, especially Rick Gross. He has really evolved his game over the years. When he started with the AlleyCats, he was the deep man. He would go get it, beat people in the air, and he can still do that, but as we've seen tonight, he can handle as well. He can dribble with the best of them.
That's Nguyen who swings it to the middle of the field. He'll get the disc right back. And worked up ahead, Woolen. This will be hauled in by Lannis. Quick movement here from the Mechanix. AlleyCats able to catch back up and settle in defensively here. We saw a lot of double teams in that first quarter there, Kelsey. Is that something you think that the AlleyCats are going to continue doing this game? As this pass has nearly got the D there was Weddingale. I think the Mechanix wanted a foul. But going back to my question about the double teams, Kelsey, is that something you expect the AlleyCats to continue to throw out defensively?
I think they're going to keep experimenting on defense here. One thing that was happening with the double teams is that leaves a person open downfield, and the Mechanix were taking advantage of it. So
Weddingale chases that pass down, not quite across the goal line, and now the possession is finished off by Jack Havey, one of the former Detroit players who's shooting up for the AlleyCats this season, makes it 8-5. Pardon me, that is Jack Havey. And so that is a break point for Indianapolis. And I want to mention William Weddingale chasing that pass down right at the edge of the goal line. He's a young player just continuing to make strides in this league.
And he has a goal again this year to lead the team in blocks, coming off his rookie season where he did just that.
22 blocks a year ago, second most in the UFA. All defense, second team, all UFA rookie first team. As he really jumped onto the scene a year ago. D-line out there for the AlleyCats, and the pull is away.
AlleyCats looking to trap the Mechanix on the sideline here. That's something that worked really well against them last week in Chicago. They struggled to get the disc off the sideline.
Well, they're able to do that here as it's rotated around. Kloss swings it further to the middle of the field. Garner. Ryan Smith, awkward catch there, but hauled in nicely by Kennis. And a man downfield for the Mechanix. But it is knocked to the turf. And the AlleyCats get the D.
Seth Gudeman flying in out of nowhere to stop that goal.
Now Kemp with the disc. Floated forwards. Can Indianapolis get another break point? Ben Landry out of some pressure. Now out to the near side.
There's rookie Cam Thatcher getting some of his first UFA action. one of the young athletic guys that the AlleyCats are so excited about.
Gross active here. And back to Thatcher, you mentioned just a few seconds ago, rather.
They move fast with this new offense, don't they?
They do. Gross involved in a lot of it. He's right in the thick of it, just always around the disc, always moving after he gets the pass off. And that's a fantastic look there. A great assist that leads to another goal for the AlleyCats. It's been Landry who hauled that one in. Indianapolis flirting with double-digit goals on the evening.
Get another look at that D from Seth Gudeman and that beautiful inside-out pass to Landry for the score.
So the AlleyCats starting to roll a bit on offense. We saw plenty of answers from the Mechanix there in the first quarter. But Indianapolis finding a way to force some turnovers.
And after we started this quarter 6-5, the AlleyCats have started to pull away just a bit here. Let's see if the Mechanix O-line can answer.
So this time they opt off the pull to not try and trap Detroit on the sideline.
It pays off for them. Detroit fumbled around with the disc a little bit.
Good layout by Felton to keep the possession alive. Now this is out to Chamberlain, who had one of our highlights in the first quarter. Woolen thought about breaking the mark, instead works it around to the far side.
AlleyCats playing person defense here, moving away from that double team and that zone that they had going earlier.
Patience here for the Mechanix, gets them closer to midfield. And now it's Chamberlain deep. And Chamberlain on the layout. Carson Chamberlain with another goal tonight. And the Mechanix with 6 goals this evening.
Beautiful, beautiful edge on that pass from Jake Felton. And we get to see it again here.
And Chamberlain, the threat that we've seen from him downfield tonight, a lot of athleticism that the Mechanix have been able to use in their favor to really hang around in this game.
They have, and we talked about earlier that that's exactly the performance we need from him and the other veterans on the Mechanix. Chamberlain having a heck of a game so far tonight.
He had 34 goals a season ago. That led Detroit. He had 9 assists to go with those 34.
He has 1 assist and 2 goals here tonight.
And the AlleyCats will try to go for the quick response. It's Gross downfield, and it's Gross getting the goal. Rick Gross with his first tonight. And the AlleyCats in double figures.
He scores a little field goal there as a celebration. Field goal up in the wall. And that pass was from Levi Jacobs, and that's why we call him the gunslinger. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Well, we saw him score a goal, and yeah, that time living up to the nickname. And that is a fantastic huck downfield. Gross there to chase down another. He was overthrown in the first quarter. The AlleyCats have sent one his way deep twice now in the second, and he's been there for both of them.
A lot of great chemistry between Levi Jacobs and Rick Gross. They're great friends off the field as well, and Rick actually says that Levi was a big part of getting him to feel like more part of the team back when Rick Gross was a rookie. Levi brought him out of his shell a little bit, and they have remained the force to be reckoned with on the field ever since.
And several years later, playing a big impact as the Mechanix trying to play their way out of trouble on the sideline, unable to do so. AlleyCats looking for another break point here in the second. As Landry works it to the middle of the field, gets the disc right back. Xavier Payne on the swing. And Payne looking toward the end zone, and it's another goal for Indianapolis. Jake Kenneth, mentioned him. He started the scoring tonight, former Detroit mechanic. Makes it 11 with 6:25 left to go in this second quarter.
And that's his second goal here tonight against his former team.
8 turnovers for Detroit on the evening. They had 5 in the first quarter. Those turnovers starting to pile up a little bit here in the second. The score's getting away from Detroit just a little bit. You think that maybe that first quarter the AlleyCats shaking off some of the rust a little bit, just as a team who hadn't played yet, took until week 3 to get the season started?
Yeah, their first game being in week 3 posed an interesting challenge, right? The Mechanix have seen some UFA action this year before, but also the AlleyCats are working with a brand new offensive system, so this is their first game rep of that new offense.
This is Quinn Garner double teamed on the sideline. And nearly a drop, but it's kept alive. Good hands by Texera. Gaither taking his time as it's rotated back around to the middle of the field. Grondin looking downfield, double team comes, so he gets it out to Gaither. Nice grab on the sideline. And Gaither works it around middle of the field.
Looks like the AlleyCats are sticking with that person defense. It's been doing a little bit better for them tonight than their zone was earlier, as Hutton pulls off for a quick double team.
A nice grab by Ryan Smith to keep the possession alive, but we may have an injury here, Kelsey, as Smith a little bit slow to get up.
Looks like he's okay, and we like to see that. They are calling the AlleyCats for a foul, so he's going to walk it up 10 yards, have a little bit better position here.
So Smith 10 yards further up the field, double teamed. Trying to throw his way out of it, and a nice grab there right on the goal line from Garner. And into the near corner of the end zone, the Mechanix will get a goal. James Close, makes it 11-7.
A little bit scary there for a second for the Mechanix. We thought there was going to be a turnover, but heck of a save. And then that penalty gets them 10 yards closer to the end zone where they are able to punch it in. Mechanix are not going to just roll over and lose this game. They are very much in it.
Detroit up to 7 goals on the night, nearly matches their total from their season opener against Chicago last weekend, where they scored 9 and an eventual 24-9 loss. And a Callahan in that game as well, as the Mechanix have brought the energy to Central Indiana. Kelsey, we're perched up here right behind their sideline, and I think it is noticeable when you look down there, especially after some of these points where they do score. And this is a team that's fired up. They're motivated here early in the season.
They are. There are a lot of fist bumps, high fives, smiles. Mechanix bringing a lot of energy to the game.
Xavier Payne dumps it off to Brock. Nice passive field from Brock. Coniaris gives right back to him. Brock will swing it around back to Coniaris. Levi Jacobs. Now Carpenter, he'll try to launch one. Detroit's there for the D.
Just a little bit low on that pass. That didn't come out of his hands quite the way he wanted it to.
Marino is there to knock it to the turf. Chance for a break point here now for Detroit. Hammer throw to the near sideline. Gessner underneath it. Felton downfield. Marino makes it bookends.
And there's a break by Detroit. Bookends for the break, and you can see those guys are fired up, Harrison.
Marino, one of those 27 rookies on this Mechanix team. And you see from one bookend to the other. As a timeout called on the field as well. 11-8, AlleyCats lead. I'm Harrison Silcox. Kelsey Sparks, bring you back into the broadcast. We mentioned it, the energy from the Mechanix. It's really been infectious on that sideline when this team has been able to find success, and they're hanging around.
They are. We just saw a little clip of some chest bumps there. The Mechanix are bringing the energy tonight. They are hungry after their loss to Chicago last week, which was not pretty, Harrison. 41 turnovers last week. And this week, they are hungry for some revenge. They're going to take it out on the AlleyCats if it is the last thing they do.
Well, they played Indianapolis twice last year. One of those games was the closest that Detroit had come to ending that streak last year. It was a 1-goal loss, 20-19. The other game that they played was a 21-15 win against the AlleyCats. I know there's a lot of new faces on this team, so when you draw the comparisons to last year to this year, maybe not the most fair thing to do in the world, but some of these vets who have been around this Mechanix roster for a while, do you think there's kind of a mindset of, hey, we almost got one against this team last year, don't think that we can't come out to Westfield and play our best?
Oh, there's absolutely that mindset, and you couple it with the fact that the AlleyCats have 4 guys that played for Detroit last year. So I think Detroit comes in it with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Hey, you guys left our program. We want to show you. You left behind something that's going to be great. We're going to break the streak.
And Drew Shepard, the coach for the AlleyCats, asked him beforehand, hey, some of the guys on your roster this year who are from Detroit the year prior, is it something that you talked about with these players? You know where they're at emotionally? Is there kind of some tension there? And he said, I decided to just not bring it up around them, because if they were already thinking about it, if I was going to ask them about it, it wouldn't help. And he said one area where it did help, obviously, scouting purposes and things like that. But, yeah, you wonder if on just the Mechanix side of it to begin with, if that is a little bit of a motivation for the away team tonight, who's hanging around here in the second quarter. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the first half. As the AlleyCats work the disc downfield.
Sounds like we've got a travel call on the field as AlleyCats were getting it off that sideline. Coach Drew Shepard not looking super happy with that.
The official apparently saw a pivot foot move, which is why we got the whistle and a stoppage in play. And
well, I'm not quite sure that it was a travel call now. Looks like the disc is staying up there.
So, yeah, it's further upfield. The AlleyCats will have possession, and right off of that, they've got a player open in the end zone, and it is a score for Thatcher.
Cam Thatcher with his first goal in the UFA. Welcome to the AlleyCats and welcome to the league. You see that smile there? He is one of the rookies that the AlleyCats are excited about.
The rookie extends the lead back to 4 goals with 3:22 left to play in the first quarter, or second quarter rather.
We get another look at the rookie score there.
And so a good answer out of the timeout that was called. What do you think that Drew Shepard was telling his team in the timeout after the Mechanix were able to get a break point?
I think he was telling them to manage their emotions, kind of like we talked about earlier. This is their first action in the UFA this year. Probably telling his guys to stick to that new offense, trust the system. It's going to work. Just keep at it.
Well, a call here against the Mechanix as they move 10 yards further back down the field. Double team from the AlleyCats. As Shanahan's able to throw out of it. Now this is Jordan Hill in the middle of the field. Little give and go action. And the D put on there from Kenneth. As he was in the right place positionally to make a play on the disc. Quick swing for the AlleyCats here as they try for a break point.
Good thing Kenneth caught that second attempt on the D there. It looked like the offensive player was coming in. Good heads-up play by Kenneth.
No pressure on Xavier Payne as he moves it forward. Now this one caught by Landry. Quickly looking for a teammate and finds Payne. Now this is Thatcher, the rookie. He got a goal last possession, trying to make it an assist here, and no! In and out of the hands of Xavier Payne. That's one that Payne's going to want back, I'm sure.
And that is not something that you usually see out of Xavier Payne. He is a seasoned veteran here. I'm sure he's kicking himself for that one, but he will get it back.
Payne over 1,300 receiving yards last year, several goals as well.
He leads some off-season workouts for the team. Pushes everybody to be better all the time.
Kind of stuff you like to see out of the guys who've been around the league for a little bit. As Detroit trying to work one up the field for another score. Talk about a team who doesn't have a lot of guys who've been around the league for several years, but that's been a storyline tonight. This team with a lot of young, fresh faces in the UFA. Giving everything they can to the AlleyCats as we've got another deep throw downfield. 2 players there for the Mechanix. This one hauled in and kept in play by Shanahan as he looks to the end zone, and it's a goal for Detroit. Jake Felton. 1 minute left in the second quarter as Detroit matches their goal total from last week in the first half. And it's back down to 3, the AlleyCats lead.
Notable to mention, too, that the Mechanix are going to be receiving that pull in the second half, so that if they can punch in another score or 2 here, they will be sitting in a good position coming out in quarter number 3.
We've already seen them get a break point here in the second quarter. Wonder how much of an itch there is to get another here in the final minute of the second quarter.
They've done a good job capitalizing on mistakes from Indianapolis. Indianapolis is sitting at a 98% completion percentage right now, so they haven't given Detroit many opportunities for breaks.
So the pull, courtesy of Ryan Smith. AlleyCats will set up under a minute left to go in the first half. It's the O-line that's out there. It's Brock, who's already got a goal today on the receiving end of the first pass of the possession. Levi Jacobs now.
And we're seeing maybe the most experienced line of the night coming out there for Indianapolis. Coach Drew Shepard is not messing around. He wants this clock eaten up and a goal punched in before that clock hits 0.
Brock, well deep in his own end zone. Carpenter, double team was there. A couple alley. Oh, and that's another Callahan on the season. It's 2 games and 2 Callahans for Detroit. My goodness, that's the last thing the AlleyCats wanted.
Caleb Texera getting the Callahan, and Detroit is hyped up. Not only is that a break, but Callahans don't happen very much in Ultimate. A Callahan is when the defensive team catches or intercepts a pass, rather, from the offensive team in their end zone. So that is a Callahan right there. We get to see it again. Travis Carpenter not happy with that pass. He wants that one back for sure.
You're talking about the completion percentage, who's 98% for the AlleyCats tonight, and how they haven't given Detroit a lot of opportunities for some break points. And it seemed like they were pretty comfortable despite being pinned back in their own end zone for much of that, just trying to work some clock with under a minute left to go in the second half. And Detroit's just there to get their second Callahan of the season. And things really just got interesting because you mentioned that the Mechanix are going to get the pull, I believe, in the second half. So
let's see if the AlleyCats can get a score here with only a little bit of time left on the clock.
Down to 5 seconds. They're going to need to work quickly. Down to 3. Need to get the throw off. They do just that. And it's a goal for the AlleyCats. In the late seconds of the first half, William Weddingale, in his second season in the UFA, gets some momentum for Indianapolis headed into the break.
Great answer there from Indianapolis. Here you see what it's like to have that veteran team with only 17 seconds left on the clock. The AlleyCats made quick work of that possession and put themselves in a better position going into the locker room for halftime.
So it's Weddingale who gets the final score of the first half. AlleyCats lead by 3. We'll break down the first 2 quarters of action. After this, you're watching AlleyCats and the UFA.
Throw like a pro with a new Pro Ultimate Frisbee. Created with input from the sport's premier passers, the Pro Frisbee is specially designed to fly through the wind and maintain its edge. Experience the official Frisbee of the UFA and get yours at shopufa.com today.
Oh, he's getting the crowd going.
Are you kidding me? You are kidding me!
Holy smokes! Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt?
This is going to be the game. Joe Clutton battling for position. He tips it to the end zone where it's caught by Elijah Jaime at the buzzer to tie the game. Incredible awareness from Clutton, and we've got overtime tonight.
Throw like a pro with a new Pro Ultimate Frisbee. Created with input from the sport's premier passers, the Pro Frisbee is specially designed to fly through the wind and maintain its edge. Experience the official Frisbee of the UFA and get yours at shopufa.com today.
Oh, he's getting the crowd going.
Are you kidding me? You are kidding me!
Holy smokes! Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt?
This is going to be the game. Joe Clutton battling for position. He tips it to the end zone where it's caught by Elijah Jaime at the buzzer to tie the game. Incredible awareness from Clutton, and we've got overtime tonight.
Throw like a pro with a new Pro Ultimate Frisbee. Created with input from the sport's premier passers, the Pro Frisbee is specially designed to fly through the wind and maintain its edge. Experience the official Frisbee of the UFA and get yours at shopufa.com today.
Oh, he's getting the crowd going.
Are you kidding me? You are kidding me!
Holy smokes! Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt?
This is going to be the game. Joe Clutton battling for position. He tips it to the end zone where it's caught by Elijah Jaime at the buzzer to tie the game. Incredible awareness from Clutton, and we've got overtime tonight.
Throw like a pro with a new Pro Ultimate Frisbee. Created with input from the sport's premier passers, the Pro Frisbee is specially designed to fly through the wind and maintain its edge. Experience the official Frisbee of the UFA and get yours at shopufa.com today.
Oh, he's getting the crowd going.
Are you kidding me? You are kidding me!
Holy smokes! Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt?
This is going to be the game. Joe Clutton battling for position. He tips it to the end zone where it's caught by Elijah Jaime at the buzzer to tie the game. Incredible awareness from Clutton, and we've got overtime tonight.
Throw like a pro with a new Pro Ultimate Frisbee. Created with input from the sport's premier passers, the Pro Frisbee is specially designed to fly through the wind and maintain its edge. Experience the official Frisbee of the UFA and get yours at shopufa.com today.
And we welcome you back to Grand Park in Westfield, Indiana. AlleyCats lead at halftime 13-10 over the Detroit Mechanix. I'm Harrison Silcox, Kelsey Sparks joining me on the broadcast, and an eventful first half, 23 goals between both teams. We've seen a Callahan, the Mechanix, getting their second on the season. Also, William Weddingale goal as the first half expired that made it 13-10. Kelsey, I'm going to bring you back in here. How do you think both teams are feeling heading into the locker room right now? What do you think the vibes are for Detroit and Indianapolis?
Well, let's start with Detroit, because I'm telling you right now, those guys are fired up. They have played a great game here in Indianapolis on the road, coming off a pretty rough loss against Chicago. So the Mechanix have performed very well. We talked about it earlier. There are only 5 returners here for the Detroit Mechanix. They have 7 total on the roster, but they're dealing with some injuries. So 5 returners here tonight. They have 27 rookies on the team. So the fact that they are doing so well against this seasoned AlleyCats team with a whole lot of veterans, it speaks volumes, and the Detroit Mechanix are fired up.
And on the other side, for the AlleyCats, how do you think they feel?
Well, Coach Drew Shepard told us before the game that he really needs his guys to stick to their system, okay? They have a brand new offense that they are working with this year, a lot more dribbling, so to speak. So quick, short, fast passes, a very fluid flow offense, if you will. So this is the first time that offense has seen UFA action here tonight. So I think Coach Shepard is telling his team, trust the system. Let's not get away from it. Let's also manage our emotions. The Mechanix played a game last week against Chicago, and this is the AlleyCats' first game of this season. We're in week 3 for the UFA, but it's the AlleyCats' first game. So got to get those first game jitters out of the way, manage your emotions, and play the system.
You talk about that dribbling that we're seeing in this new offense. Just to give you an idea of how the possessions have been for either team, Indianapolis completed 216 passes in that first half, just 105 completions for Detroit. But the opportunities downfield have been there for both teams, Kelsey. We've seen, I want to mention Carson Chamberlain for the Mechanix. He has been an absolute beast downfield. He's had a couple of highlight reel plays and some hucks that have resulted in goals and assists for Chamberlain. It'll be interesting to see if we see some more of that here in the second half for the Mechanix. He's going to a guy who's so far on camera tonight looked like the most athletic player in the team.
Chamberlain has had a wonderful game for the Mechanix. And let's talk about Cameron Brock on the AlleyCats. I think we just saw a goal from him there, putting him at 6'14" for his career. He is way ahead of the second place all-time goal scorer in the UFA. Almost double, Harrison, almost double.
That would be Matt Smith, 367 career goals for him, as Brock is just continuing to extend his goal-scoring ways now in his 12th season with Indianapolis. It is the Mechanix receiving the opening pull of the second half, and they'll immediately try to heave one downfield, and Hill just unable to get there. Passes a little bit short in his direction. So Indianapolis, first opportunity for a break point here in the second half for them. Weddingale in a full sprint downfield. He's got competition for the disc, and Wolin will track it down.
Huck just went a little bit too far. We talked about this being a new disc. It travels further than the disc that these guys are used to, Harrison.
So Wolin swings it quickly upfield. A little bit of give and go as Wolin gets it right back. Little hammer throw in the swing out to Felton.
Looks like the AlleyCats are going back into their zone defense. They had moved away from it for most of that second quarter.
What kind of challenges can that zone present for the Mechanix?
Well, frequently you see zone played outdoors because the wind is that eighth defender, so to speak, right? It's hard to get it up over the defense if it's windy. It presents a little bit more of a challenge for the defense here indoors where wind is not a factor. So they
mentioned the wind not being a factor. Was not a factor on that throw as the Mechanix able to haul that one in, and mentioned them hanging around 13-11, down by just 2.
To keep going with that thought there, the pressure on the offense on that zone that the AlleyCats are throwing, because the wind is not a factor, but putting that double team on the thrower is where the AlleyCats are trying. That's what they're trying to do with this zone here. They are banking on the fact that this Mechanix team is young, 27 rookies, we keep saying it. So if they can put pressure on the handler, pressure on the person with the disc, they can hopefully force a rough throw and give their downfield defenders a chance at a D.
Well, Chamberlain was on the receiving end of that pass for the score. He's got 3 goals tonight as well as an assist. He was a rookie last year, so just in his second year, still one of the younger guys on this Mechanix roster, but he's really shown up to play on the road tonight. This is Brock with the disc now, finding Gross. Trying to swing it around the field, and nearly a block. Did the AlleyCats get the grab? It appears that they did, as the possession was kept alive by Hoppy. Mechanix tried to say that that disc hit the turf, but instead the AlleyCats keeping possession. This is Brock and Gross.
Looked like he caught it in between his legs there. Gymnastic of a catch if I've ever seen one to save the possession.
Jacobs on the near side, getting high in the stall count to the middle of the field. Carpenter receiving. And we've got an injury here for the AlleyCats. Gross held on for a fantastic catch. It was him and one of the players for the Mechanix, I believe it was Kloss, each got a hand on it at the same time. Neither one of them wanted to let go. Gross was able to keep it. Just called for a little bit of stoppage there as he was slow to get up. They're going to exchange the disc as well. You wonder if just the force of 2 players catching that at the same time might have warped the disc a little bit. Now we wait for play to get restarted. It's Gross on the far sideline.
AlleyCats happy to see Gross bounce back up quickly. That's a scary moment when one of your long-term veterans, former All-Star, goes down.
The conversation with the official extended on the far side. Whenever play does start again, it looks like Gross is going to have to be dealing with a double team. Now he drops the disc on the turf, and he's going to step out, and a new AlleyCat will enter the field. So Gross going to have to catch a breather.
Got Brad Kinnis and James Kloss putting a double team on Xavier Payne. Coach Drew Shepard telling his team to spread out a little bit.
So we'll see if Payne can get out of the pressure of the double team. And he quickly does as soon as play gets going again. Now swung even further to Carpenter on the near side. So AlleyCats quickly able to get away from that pressure on the far sideline. Gudeman working it further ahead. And back to Gudeman. This is Payne. Came into the possession for Gross. Nearly got an assist. Just on the edge is Coniaris. And it is Brock with his second of the night.
There's another Cameron Brock goal. Those words have been uttered more than for any other player in UFA history by a large margin, too.
Well, it's 615 on the career now for Brock. He's one of those AlleyCats who's been on the roster since the beginning. And he has been finding himself in the end zone since he started playing professionally over and over and over again as Indianapolis stretches their lead back to 3. Kelsey, have you been impressed with just how there have been moments in this game where it feels like Indianapolis starting to establish themselves a little bit, getting some break points? That was a lengthy possession there that they were able to score at the end of. But have you been impressed with the Mechanix just constantly finding ways to bounce back and continue to stay involved in the game?
Yeah, the Mechanix have shown a lot of grit tonight. They've shown a lot of energy, and even in moments where it looked like maybe the game was starting to slip away from them, the Mechanix have clawed back in. And let's see their offensive possession here.
This is Marino, dumps it backwards. And swung around to Lannis. Quick movement here from Detroit. Nguyen working upfield and a nice layout grab from Lannis. Chamberlain. He's been the main man tonight for the Mechanix on the swing. Now back to Shanahan as we get a whistle.
Looks like we've got a call on the field.
And it looks like a foul against Detroit, so they'll walk it back. Regardless, swung back to Shanahan just a little bit further down the field. Chamberlain getting open again. Now Shanahan to Chamberlain once more in the backhand. Or forehand, rather. Nguyen on the nice cut.
Mechanix showing some good discipline here on offense.
As Chamberlain goes near on the goal line to Lannis, he gets up and quickly fires one into the end zone, and the Mechanix get one back. The patience, as you mentioned there, Kelsey, pays off for Detroit.
It sure does. They looked disciplined on that possession, maybe more so than any possession yet tonight. They didn't take any shots that weren't there. They stayed consistent, waited on the open receiver, and it paid off for them.
And it is a goal for Marino, his second of the game. We saw him with some bookends in the first half. As the O-line heads back out there for the AlleyCats. We'll see if Detroit can manufacture a break point here and make it a one-goal game.
Indianapolis with a 97% completion percentage right now. So the Detroit Mechanix are going to have to force Indianapolis to make some mistakes here if they are going to claw back into this game.
Just 7 turnovers for Indianapolis. As you mentioned, that completion percentage. Detroit's going to try and force a turnover here as they will pin the AlleyCats and double on the near sideline off the pole.
Mechanix going with the long-armed double team here.
Coniaris swings one out to Gross. Calmly handled by the vet. Quickly worked upfield. Nice grab to keep the play alive. It was Hoppy on that layout as the AlleyCats continue to share the disc well. Carpenter now. Coniaris. Hucks one downfield, and in for the score is Hoppy. No, right on the goal line, and make it Cam Brock.
Just barely out of the end zone was Drew Hoppy, but Cameron Brock there to punch it in and add to his career goal total.
So Brock's got 3 tonight. He's always got a nose for getting open in the end zone. So good response from Indianapolis, Kelsey. And that completion percentage really showing why that number is in the upper 90s tonight, as Indianapolis has done a good job. When Detroit does try to pin them and double on the sideline, they just are able to quickly rotate that disc around the double team and free up some pressure on their offense.
And they have thrown a substantial amount of passes tonight, actually. It's that new offense with all those quick little flow dribble passes. The AlleyCats have attempted 258 passes tonight, compared to the Mechanix attempting 156. That's just the differences in offense there. So the AlleyCats are relying on quick little dishy passes and lots of them.
2 different styles of play being advertised tonight as Detroit's continuing to work upfield. A heck of a grab by Felton. This is Marino. Right back to Felton. Try some give and go action. Can Marino chase it down the layout? He gets 2 hands on it, and the Mechanix answer in just a matter of seconds.
It's Moreno's second goal tonight, and his first one was an athletic feat as well.
That is fantastic work from Marino to chase that disc down. And Kelsey, Detroit, the offense is there. And obviously, they're competitive in this game. It's a 2-goal game. And you just think about what a couple of break points, what a couple of turnovers could do for this team defensively to really narrow down that lead on the scoreboard just a little bit more.
Detroit is doing a really good job starting to get a handle on limiting those turnovers. They're sitting at 10 turnovers right now. They got to 8 pretty quickly, and those last 2 turnovers have come in the last 7 minutes of gameplay or so. Again, last week they had 41 turnovers, 10 drops, 31 throwaways, and the key to the game tonight for Detroit is limiting those. So doing a great job so far.
And right there's a turnover, though. Tough one for Indianapolis right on the goal line. And the question was, what would a couple of turnovers, what would a couple of break points do for Detroit? Well, this might be a gift for the road team right here.
Big break chance here. This would put the Mechanix within 1.
This is Garner. He's got his eyes on the end zone, right on the goal line as it's thrown ahead to Kennis. Can he find a teammate? He can! And it's Terry Gaither. 4th year with Detroit, one of the few experienced guys on this roster, brings the Mechanix within 1.
Brad Kennis, the rookie, finding Terry Gaither, his captain, first-year captain for the Mechanix, to bring their team within 1 here in AlleyCats country in Grand Park, Indianapolis. You see that celebration there. Brent Steep very, very happy with his team right now, Harrison.
Just over 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, and Detroit down by a goal. Gaither was one of those people who you had talked to before the game, Kelsey, and he said, we believe we can break that streak this season. And the Mechanix playing tough here on the road in just their 2nd game of the year. Lost to Chicago last week. Can they get one against the AlleyCats here tonight? A chance to respond for Indianapolis. With how efficient Detroit has been on offense, Kelsey, how much pressure do you think it puts on the AlleyCats whenever their O-line's out in the field?
There's already a lot of pressure associated with being on O-line to begin with, and you put in the fact that you've given up a couple breaks here lately. That puts a lot of pressure on these guys. We're looking at a bit different of an O-line here from the AlleyCats than the one we've seen thus far. Thatcher
swinging it up to Betch. Now Landry with the disc, back to Betch. And we might have a foul.
We do. AlleyCats looking for that foul. They got it.
That's a fortunate break for Indianapolis. Looked like it was going to be a similar style of turnover that they saw in the last possession, but the foul bails out Betch as he gets to walk forward 10 yards. The official makes sure he's in the right spot on the field. This is Jeremiah Branson. That chased down by Landry. Now Payne. Thatcher looked for somebody immediately after the catch. Nobody was there. Now Payne had his eyes in the end zone and decides to give it right back to the rookie. Give and go between the two of them as Thatcher heaves downfield, but not before we get a whistle that stops play from an official.
Trying to take it back, but we did.
And it was a timeout that was called by Indianapolis. So a tough break there. It looked like the AlleyCats might have been on their way to a goal for Ben Landry. But a timeout stops play, Kelsey. What do you think Coach Shepard is telling his team right now? What do you think the decision was behind calling a timeout there?
Looked like the AlleyCats were maybe starting to get stuck a little bit. They had a couple passes just stay in the same area. It looked like maybe they weren't going to get out of it for just a second. So I think Coach Shepard just wanted to call that timeout, set up a play, let everybody reset, and get out of that little stall that they were in. So let's see what kind of play they have coming out of that timeout. Going very handler heavy here. It looks like we are setting up in a hex offense or close to it.
It'll be Xavier Payne who will start with the disc. Hill to mark for the Mechanix. Is Payne up ahead to Thatcher. Thatcher hesitates on the fake that had two Mechanix run into each other, and Payne chases it down for the goal. A fantastic fake from the rookie. Just leaves Payne wide open in the end zone, and Indianapolis goes back in front by 2.
Cameron Thatcher gets to throw his first assist as a professional right there to none other than veteran Xavier Payne, putting the AlleyCats back up by 2.
And so for Thatcher, goal and assist on the debut for the rookie in the UFA. So that's timeout called by Coach Shepard paying off. As a few passes later, the AlleyCats wind up getting a goal, go back in front by 2. This game was 11-6 at one point in favor of Indianapolis before a couple of break points in the second quarter brought the Mechanix back into this one. Detroit has yet to lead or force a tie. And we'll see if this O-line for Detroit has another answer. They've been very efficient tonight in hanging with Indianapolis.
AlleyCats trying to pin them back close in their own end zone.
This is Chamberlain. And Shanahan on the huck. And that's a nice grab by Felton. He keeps the play alive. It was a good pass from Shanahan as Felton swings one around far side. Nobody is there for it. Off the pass from Wolin. Just into no man's land. So a chance for a break for Indianapolis.
AlleyCats need to capitalize on this break opportunity here to extend their lead a little bit. They've let
nice catch there by Hutton on the layout. Wettengale is back up ahead, close. Right back to Wettengale. Thought about the heave. Now he will. And Goodeman could not grab it. Wolin had the turnover on one end of the field. Is there to contest that catch, keep the possession alive.
Looked like a decent amount of contact in the air there.
Chamberlain with the disc. Late moments of the third. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the quarter. Wolin. Now Chamberlain. That's Felton. Around the double. And that's a fantastic D from Hutton.
Great D by Nick Hutton, coming flying in. And his nickname has been Superman here for the AlleyCats. He's a captain this year. And he's shown us why.
Gross with the disc now. Good to see him back in after he left. Looked like he got hurt in Wettengale. Into the end zone, and it's a goal for Indianapolis. That was a long point compared to most of what we've seen tonight.
Get another look at that great defensive play by Hutton, and the AlleyCats capitalize on it. Drew Hoppy with the score. The team calls him Happy. That's the way that his name is spelled, with an A, so that's his nickname, Happy.
A couple of nicknames coming to life from that possession. Happy with the goal. Hutton living up to the Superman nickname on the layout D, and Indianapolis gets a break point, and the lead is back up to 3.
Xavier Payne instructing his line on what the plan is for this next point. AlleyCats hoping to keep the break train rolling here. Mechanix need to answer.
So the pole going the length of the field. Garner's there to pick it up, but we get a whistle on the turf. 92 seconds left to play in the third quarter. The officials want to get things sorted out, and Kelsey, it looks like we are going to have a repoll.
So nice, they want to see it twice.
All right, well, let's see if the AlleyCats can do that again. That was a great pull.
And they went the length of the field that time around. We've seen the variety of strategies off the pole today. There's been a lot of trapping on the sideline and double teams. The AlleyCats, though, on that last pole, content to just heave it the length of the dimensions of the field. And they'll try and do it again. Payne launching one.
Cats going with a looser double team here. A little bit more of a cup on defense, it looks like. Trying to cut off one side of the field.
This is Garner. Nearly a D there, but good work from the Mechanix. Smith on the far side. Thought about maybe hucking one. Instead, gives off to Gaither as the Mechanix move further upfield. This is Grondin. Marked to the far sideline. Through some traffic to Garner. As Akers on a hammer throw. Can it be tracked down? Nearly hauled in for Detroit. That would have been quite the grab from Richie Ware.
Almost there, and he wants that one back.
Close. Upfield, Branson on the near sideline fighting Betch. Payne. Trying to find a handler to dump it off to. This will be chased down by Kenneth.
Another break chance here for Indianapolis.
And another whistle is going to stop play. A foul called against the Mechanix. So a free 10 yards for the AlleyCats. Payne. Can Thatcher get his second of his career? He does. Leaping into the air, the rookie cashes in.
Cameron Thatcher with a great rookie appearance here tonight. First game in the UFA, and he already has a couple goals. Caught that break and an assist to go with it. Can't ask for any more from a rookie first-time appearance, Cam Thatcher.
And it is 3 straight goals for the AlleyCats. A bit more breathing room on the scoreboard. Detroit had been within 2 for a while and had plenty of answers when their O-line was out of the field, but a couple of break points in a row. And the AlleyCats getting a little bit more comfortable on that scoreboard with 13 seconds left to play in the third.
Detroit is going to need to stop the bleeding right now. They are running out of time.
Well, we saw some late magic in the second quarter with under a minute left. The Mechanix got a Callahan The AlleyCats answered back. Wettengale scored in the final seconds of the first half. They're going to need to work quickly. The Mechanix. Hammer throw. Far side. Knocked to the turf. And the AlleyCats will take a 4-goal lead heading into the fourth quarter. We'll have that after this.
Oh, he's getting the crowd going.
Are you kidding me? You are kidding me!
Holy smokes! Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt?
This is going to be the game. Joe Clutton battling for position. He tips it to the end zone where it's caught by Elijah Jaime at the buzzer to tie the game. Incredible awareness from Clutton, and we've got overtime tonight.
Throw like a pro with a new Pro Ultimate Frisbee. Created with input from the sport's premier passers, the Pro Frisbee is specially designed to fly through the wind and maintain its edge. Experience the official Frisbee of the UFA and get yours at shopufa.com today.
Harrison Silcox, Kelsey Sparks with you for some AlleyCats action. They're playing the Detroit Mechanix tonight, and we've had a good game tonight, Kelsey, though AlleyCats getting some breathing room on the scoreboard late in the third quarter. A couple of break points helped them get an 18-14 lead.
Mechanix had cut their lead to within one. Mechanix making it really difficult for the AlleyCats here at home, but thankfully a few breaks were had by the AlleyCats in that third quarter, so a little bit more breathing room. 4-point lead. The game is certainly not over yet, but the AlleyCats are in the driver's seat. Looks like Richie Ware. Oh, I thought he had the disc. My bad. He's out there though. He put in his bio here some of his other hobbies, and he actually won the inaugural Fountain Square Pool League in Indianapolis.
Really? How about that?
A man of many talents. Shout out to the Fountain Square Pool League.
It is the AlleyCats getting the first possession here of the fourth. You think there's any, I don't know, sort of hand-eye coordination that crosses over between playing Ultimate and Pool that gives Richie an advantage some other players don't have?
Maybe so. Just a versatile athlete, I suppose. I don't think there's much of a crossover for me, but maybe that's just because I'm terrible at pool. I'm not winning Fountain Square Pool League, that's for sure.
Here is a Huck. Can he get the scoring started in the fourth for Indianapolis? Payne tried his best to keep up with it, but that might be the new disc coming into play as well. They're just a little bit too much underneath that one as it goes out of play.
Xavier Payne almost hit the wall there, going full speed. Great effort there, but couldn't quite catch up to it. This new disc, like we were saying earlier, it is a little bit thinner in the middle area, so it kind of gives the disc a little bit of an air bounce, so it's going to fly further than the Frisbees that these guys are used to playing with.
Smith is double-teamed off the turnover. We'll see if the Mechanix can work the disc up the entire length of the field for a break point. Aiden Rudy. Look at his swing, getting high in the stall counts. Calm, cool, collected as he finds Smith, and Smith will heave. Chamberlain chasing. Canieris there as well, and it's Canieris who knocks the disc to the turf. It's another D for the AlleyCats.
Not in his house. He waves his hands up in the air in a no motion. Canieris stopped what would have been a scary moment for Indianapolis, but now they have another break chance.
This is Kennev working upfield. He's got Carpenter if he wants him. Carpenter can't chase it down. When in doubt, layouts, but all Carpenter has to show after that is a couple of turf pellets in his sleeves as we get a stoppage in play. We've got, it is Smith here who needs to tie his shoe. We get the stoppage in play for.
All right. The Mechanix are grateful for that turnover from the AlleyCats. Their offense will get another chance here to get the hold. So for those of you that are watching that might not be as familiar with Ultimate, a hold is what we call it when the offense who receives the disc scores the point. And then a break, on the other hand, is when the team that starts the point on defense gets to score the point there.
This is Smith, double teamed as play gets started again. AlleyCats have not been shy to have two players on the mark all night. Rudy trying to work his way out of pressure, getting high in the stall counts. Can he swing one? He cannot get it off in time.
Great defense there from the AlleyCats.
Payne had Brock momentarily. Had to wait for play to get started, though. And now he has Brock in the near corner. And make it 19-14 AlleyCats.
Great defense there by the AlleyCats, forcing 2 turnovers on that point, walking away with the break, and hey, who other than Cameron Brock?
Brock with 4 goals on the evening.
Putting him at 617 on the career.
What do you think, Kelsey, is it about his game that just allows him to score as often as he has throughout his career? Is it a knowledge of just where to be at the right time and understanding where players are on the field, or is he just a guy who simply has a knack for scoring?
He certainly has the knowledge that comes with being in the league for 12 years, but he's the kind of guy that just always has the motor running. He'll wake up early in the morning to get in the extra workout. He'll go in the rain, in the snow, doesn't matter. When the other guys, when anybody wants to give up, Cameron Brock won't. And he sees adversity as another chance to just get ahead of his competition.
So it is Hutton on the pole. Felton gets the possession started. Wolin, way to read that pass. Shanahan finding Felton. Now another swing, this around Tilanis. Mechanix looking for their first score here early in the 4th, but that's a fantastic read of the play by Gudeman. And he's looking for bookends as well. And he does it in fashion.
Up and over the defender, and a little bit of a celebration there from Seth Gudeman, bringing the AlleyCats to a 6-point lead, their largest of the night. And Harrison, things are starting to not look so good for the Mechanix.
Yeah, Detroit's starting to lose some of that factor of them hanging around in this game. As you get another look at the Gudeman goal, AlleyCats really starting to roll here in the 4th. And for the second time tonight, we've got some bookends to talk about. This time it's in favor of Indianapolis.
About 8.5 minutes to go in this one, and the Mechanix need to string some scores together very quickly if they want to get back into this one here in Indianapolis.
They're going to elect to trap Detroit on the sideline. Garner to pick up the disc. Trying to play his way out of the double team. Nice one-handed snag from Klaas. Little give and go. Klaas gets it right back. Finding Garner. Quick movement here from Detroit, but the AlleyCats deny in the end zone. Joel Close on the layout D.
Amazing, amazing D there from Joel Close. His second season on the AlleyCats. Gets to play here with his brother, and that athletic D gives the AlleyCats another break chance here.
Branson with the disc, looking for the end zone, and it's a goal for the AlleyCats. It's former Mechanic Jack Havey with a second goal this evening, and it's 21 goals now for the AlleyCats with 7:43 left in the fourth. Indianapolis rolling now with a couple of break points, and that's where it all started.
Havey scoring what could have been the goal to put this one to rest here tonight. A 7-point deficit with less than 8 minutes to go is going to be pretty tough to overcome. Jack Havey getting the score against his former team.
Detroit with only 4 goals here since halftime. Defensively, the AlleyCats have really started to turn it on here in the second half, Kelsey.
Coach Drew Shepard told us that the AlleyCats really need to generate more blocks. They didn't do a great job of that last season, so that's been a focus for them. And here in this second half, it has really happened.
12 blocks tonight. We'll see if Detroit can find some of that rhythm on offense again here this possession. Felton looking downfield of the Huck, opts not to heave it. Marino. Now this time Felton's going to launch one almost the full length of the field. It's got plenty of float to it. Marino's there. That's a heck of a play for the Mechanics regardless of what's on the scoreboard.
So much breakaway speed there by Moreno to get open, rein in that Huck, and get his 4th of the night.
So the Huck pays off there for Detroit. They're 6 of 16 in that department tonight. Turnovers, though, have started to add up for the Mechanics. 18 now on the evening, but no turnovers that possession. And what do you think this message sends to the Detroit locker room? Obviously still plenty of time in this one, just under 7 minutes left to play in the fourth. But with the way that we saw this offense clicking at times today, and this team talking about breaking the streak, do you think this sends a message to this team of, despite how many young players that they have, it's, hey, this is what we're capable of?
Absolutely it does, and especially when compared with last week. You look at a 41 turnover outing, and then right here, we're in the fourth quarter, and they only have 18. So on track to do half of the turnovers they did last week. I mean, that is an incredible step up. So lots of room to grow here for Detroit, and even if they don't come away with this win, they have a lot to build on.
This is Havey getting the disc. You mentioned a lot to build on. It's only the second game of the year for Detroit. First one for the AlleyCats. Mechanics play the Madison Radicals next. It is Atlanta who's on deck as an AlleyCats opponent, as it's another goal for Indianapolis. Levi Jacobs getting free.
And he points out his teammate who threw him the goal, Xavier Payne. Beautiful edge on that pass, keeping Indianapolis in a comfortable driver's seat in this fourth quarter.
We talk about that Atlanta matchup that the AlleyCats have next against the Hustle, who just ended the Empire's 31-game winning streak in week 2. And so this is a chance for the AlleyCats to kind of, shake off some of that rust after a long offseason, getting their first game under their belts. But that game against Atlanta is going to be a real tough test. And Kelsey, would you say it's one that might kind of tell the AlleyCats where they're at in terms of the rest of the competition this season after they've made the playoffs the last couple of years?
It will, especially against a team that just took down the 2-time reigning champion. I mean, that was a streak that a lot of us didn't think was going to get broken anytime soon. So if the AlleyCats can compete against Atlanta here at home, it really sends a message to the rest of the league. Hey, the AlleyCats are here.
That is Gaither, who could not haul in the pass. We'll see if Indianapolis can get themselves a break point as Hoppe will swing it. This is Betch.
And speaking of that Atlanta game, beating the Empire last week on May 5th, and as we know, May 4th is National Star Wars Day, right? So one of the prominent Frisbee tweeters posted on X that the Empire did not strike back.
Love it.
Got a lot of likes on that one.
May the 4th be with you. The 4th was with Atlanta, I suppose, as the AlleyCats are knocking on the doorstep. Gross. Very active in the first half. It's been a little bit more quiet here in the second half, but very effective on this possession as he finds Betch. And it's a goal for Gudeman. And the AlleyCats make it 23. So Seth Gudeman, 3 goals tonight, had 10 a season ago. As we are just under 5 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter.
Strong showing by the AlleyCats here in this second half. First half was very close, Harrison. It was looking like this might come down to the wire, but the adjustments that Coach Drew Shepard made at halftime have been working. The AlleyCats are looking good here in the second half.
Just to give you an update on how many passes completed by this AlleyCats team, new offense, 361 they've attempted, 350 completed, 97% completion percentage. It's almost like they're playing hot potato with the disc, how quickly this team likes to move it around. It's a Mechanix possession, though, off the pole, trying to work their way out of trouble in the double team. Grondin on the far side.
AlleyCats pushing them back.
Nice catch from Akers. Right along that sideline in front of the AlleyCats bench. This is Marino, quick move upfield. Marino gets it back, a little hop on the catch. As it's swung around to Grondin. And a hammer throw from Grondin to the end zone, and Payne is there to knock that one down. And Payne is going to try to heave one downfield to Hutton, but a whistle stops play.
The crowd was really getting into it there with Xavier Payne getting that D. They actually have a bunch of paper D's, the green D's, up on the side of the stands there. There we go. And they chant, flip that D, every time they put one of those over. So a lot of those there tonight for Indianapolis as we're trying to figure out what's going on the field.
It's fantastic to see the fans getting involved and what the team's able to do on the turf. And plenty of D's flipped tonight, Kelsey.
Two young fans getting to hang that last one up. All right, and we are back to play.
Ben Close getting open after play resets. This is Hutton. All that work to sprint downfield, all for a whistle to make it all for nothing, but Wettengale getting the disc, and it goes right back to Hutton. They play pass and catch.
And this flow offense, it comes in handy in times like this, too, because at the end of this game, up.
And this is Hutton. This time around, Wettengale fouled in the end zone. Good sportsmanship there from the Mechanix. Wettengale looked like a for sure goal. You just talk about a noticeable size advantage, and it was Lanes just with some contact jumping a little bit early.
Yeah, no question there on the foul. Good sportsmanship, like you said, no hard feelings, but all right. They are calling it a goal because he denied the obvious goal-scoring opportunity there. It looks like that's what they're saying. Maybe a discussion's coming.
Well, we'll see. It's conversation from the officials. I understand the idea if you do want to just allow that to be a goal as you get another look at it and how obvious the foul is. I mean, Lannis has left the ground before Wettengale even begins to play the disc. But after the conversation with the officials, they're going to make the AlleyCats work for the score here along the end zone, and now another whistle stops play. And it's a foul on AlleyCats.
Looks like somebody moved a little bit before the whistle was blown, so Wettengale's going to back up a little bit. I believe the discussion before was a flagrant foul. I think that might have been what was called, but nevertheless, AlleyCats with possession of the disc here, working it close to the Detroit end zone.
This is Hutton. And a turnover forced by Detroit. It's a big swing there, and you think about the AlleyCats looking like they were going to get a goal despite the foul. And now it's Detroit with possession. But Grondin loses the disc. Payne's going to pick it back up. Under 3 minutes left to play. Lengthy point here. Nice catch from Payne, able to track the disc as Kenneth, middle of the field. We get another stoppage in play and a timeout called by Drew Shepard. Kelsey, will bring you in again. What do you think the strategy is behind the timeout there from Coach Shepard?
I think emotions were starting to get a little bit high after that last turnover. We had the foul, we had the discussion. Just needed a little bit of time to get recentered, and he is putting in his offense now. So we're going to see a different line from Indianapolis. Offensive players coming back in to just maintain possession of this one. Like we were saying, there's no need for the AlleyCats to rush, right? Under 3 minutes to go, they have the disc, and this flow style of offense with a lot of dribbling is really an advantage in this situation because they can eat up a lot of clock with a lot of passes. When you have the disc in your possession, you have 7 seconds to get rid of it, or else you are committing a stall. And so plenty of opportunity for the AlleyCats to burn some clock here with a lot of their quick passes that they've been doing tonight. Mechanix need to get a D quickly.
It'll be Aiden Rudy who's on the mark as Carpenter will start play. As the referee blows his whistle to get things going again. Carpenter floating one out that's hauled in. And Hoppy unable to make the grab. That's a quick turnover that you mentioned, Kelsey, forced by Detroit as Rudy gets it off quickly into the hands of Kloss. And a foul on Indianapolis. We'll move Detroit further up the field. Knocking on the door now is Detroit. Kloss thought about the hammer throw. Instead works it back to Gaither. Right back to Kloss. And the Mechanix will convert. Aiden Rudy finishing off the possession.
After a lengthy point that took over 2 minutes off the clock, Detroit Mechanix offense gets that hold there. They score the goal. And a little spike celebration there.
So still some life from this Detroit offense, and a lengthy possession as it looked like Wettengale had an easy score. He was fouled. Some conversation on whether or not they were going to allow the goal to stand. Winds up being a turnover later on as the AlleyCats couldn't convert from the goal line. Detroit then able to finish off the point. 23-16 with 1:50 left to play. Kelsey, your impressions here in the first game of the AlleyCats. Took them a while to kind of get this game under control, but here in the fourth quarter, they've really come alive.
First half looked a little bit shaky from the AlleyCats, making some turnovers, some mistakes that aren't really characteristic of them. But hey, first game of this UFA season, so it's to be expected. They've really pulled it together in the second half. The offense has been flowing very well. 97% completion percentage for the AlleyCats right now. They've completed 390 throws. Lots of give and go. We see a little bit more here.
This is Payne working it ahead to Branson with a nice catch. Quickly moved up ahead to Kenneth. And right back to him. There you see that quick movement with the disc again from Indianapolis. Is immediately swung to the far side of the field. Betch quickly forward. This is Kemp right back to Betch. AlleyCats looking to answer quick. Havey, was he in? No. And now they are.
Havey to Betch, two guys that were both on the Mechanix last year. Nicholas Betch started his UFA career right here in Indianapolis, but he's been in Detroit the last 2 seasons, so welcome home, Nick Betch. Good score there as the AlleyCats are looking to close this one out.
Yeah, back playing in Indianapolis. You see Havey so close to scoring, walks it back out, finishes the possession off. So the former Detroit players all having a hand in the scoreboard tallies today for the AlleyCats.
With 4 assists, 1 goal, and 2 points. A +6. Your number 2 star of the game, number 23, Xavier.
And so Indianapolis looking to move to 1-0 on the season. Continued to dominate the series with Detroit. They will now be 31-1 all-time against the Mechanix.
A +6. Your number 1 star of the game, running by James Beach, number 17, Seth.
Long floaty pool there from Nick Hutton.
Nguyen on the swing to the middle of the field. We'll see if Detroit can maybe get one more score here. Just under a minute left to play. Nguyen has nobody in the mark, so plenty of time to throw it as it's swung over to Lannis. Gives it right back to Nguyen.
AlleyCats content to let them have some give and goes back in their own end zone.
Rooney on the huck downfield to Hill. 3 AlleyCats in the mix. Get the D.
Looked like Drew Hoppy got the hand on that one.
So Hoppy with the hops paying off. Wet and Gale will restart play again. AlleyCats can close this thing out with 20 seconds left to play.
No need to force any long throws here. AlleyCats can just work it for the last 20 seconds.
Ten seconds left to play. Gudeman need to get it out of the mark. That stall count was getting high. A long pass to the end zone, and it's finished off with a score for Rick Gross as the time on the clock is all zeros in the final score, 25-16. AlleyCats getting their first win of the season in week 3 of the UFA season.
Been close with the assist there. Not content to just run out the clock. He said, let's get one more. Rick Gross goes up and gets it. Bringing this home for Indianapolis.
Rick Gross been with this team now. This is his 10th year. Kelsey will now work into the postgame here. It's a 9-goal win for Indianapolis. Your first overall thoughts as this one's now in the books?
Let's start with Detroit. I think that this was a positive outing for them. I know it didn't go their way, but they have built a lot since last week. Last week, they lost 24-9. This week, closer game and way less turnovers. Last week, 41 turnovers. This week, only 22. So almost cut their turnovers in half, Harrison. A very young team like we talked about earlier. Only 5 returning players playing here tonight. Not even enough to have a whole line. 7 guys are on the line. 27 rookies for the Mechanix. So I think all in all, positive outing for the Mechanix, even though the streak does extend to 76 straight losses. This is a young team, and they have shown that they have some bright spots that they can build on.
I talk about that Callahan as well. 2 games into the season for the Mechanix. They've got 2 Callahans. This is a team that, despite playing on the road tonight, brought plenty of energy.
Yeah, Caleb Texera getting the Callahan tonight. Brad Kinnis with the Callahan last week. So lots of energy from the Mechanix players as they're applauding their fans right now, thanking them for making the drive down to Indianapolis here at Grand Park.
And from the AlleyCats side of things, first look at that new look offense this season. What were your impressions of that, Kelsey?
It took a little bit for the AlleyCats to get it going. That first half looked a little bit shaky, but that's to be expected when working with a new system there. So AlleyCats looked really good in the second half adjustments that they made. Lots and lots of passes, 417 completions for the AlleyCats as they had lots of little give and goes. Lots of passes, and Harrison, in just a second here, we are going to get to talk to Seth Gudeman from the AlleyCats. He's coming up to the booth to be interviewed by us here. So here's Seth. I'm gonna have you come around this way. All right, Seth Gudeman, number 17, up in the booth now. Seth, what are your first impressions on that game? You're 1-0 now.
Yeah, great feeling to start off the season on the right foot. Really great team win. First half was a little bit of tight. We kind of expect that with our first game, but second half came out a lot stronger. D-line all played great, had some great layout Ds in the second half. Our offense looked a lot better in the second half, so really happy with the team effort, really happy with the team win. And kind of our mantra this year is that, the stats don't matter. It's kind of just, be in the position to succeed. And so each game I'm expecting someone different to have a big layout game or a ton of stats. So lucky, feel blessed that it's me this time, but super excited to hype my teammates up when it's them next time.
Seth, you seem a little out of breath. Is that because the run up here? You had to go up a couple steps to get up here, or is that just from the hustle in the game?
The first 4 quarters were super easy. It's all flat field, but honestly, those 2 flights of stairs winded me. That about took it out of me, so gonna need an ice bath for tomorrow.
You talk about this team, wanting to not care as much about the stats and things like that. We did see a new look offense tonight. We talked with Coach Shepard before the game, a lot of dribbling involved. And what were your early impressions of how that worked out in UFA play?
Yeah, so kind of mirrors how the whole game felt. So first half looked a little rough, kind of expected that. You have your adrenaline pumping, first game of the season. Really excited, really happy with how it looked in the second half. We had a lot more possessions that we strung together, and we actually saw that dribbling that we were looking for. So I'd say, the second half definitely is more characteristic of what we want our offense to look like, and the first half was just a lot of jitters.
All right, so now looking ahead to Atlanta, They just took down the Empire, ended that streak last week. How do you feel with Atlanta coming here to Grand Park next week?
Yeah, so unfortunately, don't like to admit it, but I've been on the field the last 2 seasons when Atlanta gave us a little bit of the business. So definitely looking forward to a revenge game. Got a lot to clean up. Again, this is our first game, that happens, but got a lot to clean up before next week, especially knowing the kind of season they're having already, even this early on. So
Seth,
excited for it.
I appreciate you making the jog up 2 flights of stairs to meet us here in the post game, and congrats on the win.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
It.
Good game, Seth.
Once again, that is Seth Gudeman, who joined us on the post game. And once again, final score 25-16. It is the AlleyCats who move to 1-0 on the season after taking down the Detroit Mechanix. Kelsey, any final thoughts in this game as we get ready to close out the broadcast?
Sounds like the AlleyCats are ready to get some revenge on Atlanta next week, and we will be with you right back here at Grand Park with the action next Saturday night.
One more time, I'm Harrison Silcox. Kelsey Sparks with me tonight. You've been watching Ultimate on WatchUFA.com.
He's getting the crowd going.
Are you kidding me? You are kidding me!
Holy smokes! Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt?
This is going to be the game. Joe Clutton battling for position. He tips it to the end zone where it's caught by Elijah Jaime at the buzzer to tie the game. Incredible awareness from Clutton, and we've got overtime tonight.
Throw it up for Tillman.
Oh, my goodness.
122-6-0 for Penn.
What a swim. 6 of them.